This is El Presidente here with the Chainsaw Symphony on 91.3 FM, WTSR Trenton. Right now we're talking to John Reese, a music executive and co-founder of the Rockstar energy drink Mayhem Festival, which this summer enters its 8th year. John, thanks so much for talking with us, and how are you doing today?
Excellent, man. Thank you. I'm doing really well.
Awesome. You know, usually when I think music executive, I think like fat guy in a pinstripe suit. You know, so before we talk about Mayhem this year, I'd just like to know a little bit more about your background, how you got to the place you are today. What was the first big concert you ever saw as a kid?
The Knack in 1976, I think. I was 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
I was at the Arizona State Fair.
No kidding.
And then the first show I ever worked when I got in the security business was Queen.
Okay.
So,
wow, nice.
Yeah, they were pretty unbelievable.
So you started out as a security guard?
I did. I started out as a security guard when I was like 19 years old, and then those yellow shirt guys, and then I eventually started a security company when I was like 21.
Wow.
And then a guy that worked for me went to work for Guns N' Roses right when they started, and he asked me to come and work with him. And so, Guns N' Roses was blowing up, so I loaded up the truck and moved to Beverly, sold my security company, moved, and that was like in 1989, 1990, and moved to California, started working with Guns N' Roses, and then started doing, management.
Wow. That's incredible, man. And how did you, take that step into management? Like, just what do you think's the most valuable asset for somebody to have that's looking to make their mark in the music industry?
The most important thing is to be passionate about it. If you're passionate about music, there's a lot of different ways to get into the music business. There's everything from publishing to record companies to promotions to, there's so many different things. The social media, it's just really, find out what you're passionate about and then just give it your all and never give up. I mean, it sounds very trite and very simple, but there's no recipe for success but hard work, and the people that work really, really hard are the ones that are noticed.
Were you always drawn to kind of like the live concert performance aspect of it?
I was, because, seeing Queen, I mean, that really, Freddie Mercury and the passion of the audience towards the artist, and, the fact of putting on major events and, going into a new city every day, or, new problems, new issues, getting to work with, world-class talent. I mean, all of that has just such, it's so rewarding. It's a lot of hard work, but it's super rewarding.
Yeah, it seems crazy, man, because I do like off-premise catering. I used to do it full-time. Now I do it, when I can. But I look at Mayhem as this just traveling bar mitzvah for like thousands of people. And it just blows my mind, because like we do a gig or two, a few gigs sometimes on the weekends, and then the rest of the week is recovery. You know what I mean? Like cleaning everything up, getting everything together. I can't imagine picking everything up and moving into another city, doing the whole thing again the next day. It's just mind-blowing, the amount of planning that must go into something like Mayhem Fest.
Right.
I mean,
it is. I mean, it's a year-round proposition. When we finish on the first week of August, we're working on it. We start working on talent for the next year. So
right.
My staff and Kevin's staff, I mean, we work on it year-round, and we work on sponsors and artwork and merchandise and all of that stuff in order to be able to pull this thing off.
So now the headliner, is that like the head of the snake? Is that the first thing you nail down before you?
It's by far the hardest thing. We try to get two big, two top of the bill acts, and it's tough with rock music right now, because there's not a lot of new headliners that are being created out there, happening out there. I mean, we try very hard to profile acts and to make them bigger, and I think we've been super successful at doing that. But the one thing that's missing from the equation from like 2002 forwards is just the record companies and what they spend marketing, rock bands. Because rock bands, they're not like Taylor Swift or something where you're going to have a big pop single.
Yeah.
It's going to blow up and it's going to create an audience.
Yeah.
Rock and metal is about touring, and it's about and rock radio is in shambles right now, and alternative radio doesn't really plays pop music, and there's not a lot of outlets for heavy music aside from touring and so forth, and it's just harder and harder because half of the revenue chain has kind of gotten lost in the business because publishing and record royalties are pretty non-existent compared to what they used to be. I mean, artists could count on that revenue to help them survive, and now that isn't there. So what a lot of acts are doing is over touring. They're touring too much, and it doesn't make them as valuable as it would if they didn't stay out of these cities as much.
Right. And it seems like the audience is very fragmented too. You know what I mean? People just kind of latch onto their own scene, and that's about it. There's not that big headliner, like you said. So you said you start planning in August. How soon do you like to have your headliner secure for the next year? Like, what's the cutoff point? And
the earliest we've ever had was 15 months before.
Oh wow!
And we did that a couple years ago with Rob Zombie. We had him done before the next the Mayhem before even kicked off.
Yeah. That's got to be nice.
This year was the latest. I don't think we confirmed Slayer until right around February 1st, which is the latest ever.
Wow.
To get somebody confirmed, but normally we have at least the headline act done middle of November, beginning of December.
All right, so yeah, this year's lineup is really killer. You got King Diamond, you got Slayer, hell yeah, Devil Wears Prada, Whitechapel, whole list of groups. So I've heard you mention about some of your wish list headliners in the past: Metallica, Maiden, Rammstein, Pantera reunion. Which of those do you think you came the closest to securing?
I think we were closest with Rammstein. We've had discussions with Metallica, we've had discussions with Iron Maiden, and it's just when you're at that level, it's like you don't need a festival, the festival around you to sell the tickets.
Right.
But on the other hand, my sales point to like Metallica and Iron Maiden is if you played Mayhem, it would put you in front of a much younger audience.
Right.
And get you with the kids. But it's not my decision. It's their management and agent's decision to do those things. But, those are two big acts that we'd love to have on, but I don't know or think it'll ever happen.
Well, yeah, Rammstein to me would seem difficult just because also it was a foreign band, and then the pyrotechnics that go into their show are unbelievable. I mean,
I think they travel with like 18 trucks.
Wow.
There were definitely limitations as far as production limitations and so forth when we were in discussions with them a few years back. But at the end of the day, it's great for the younger bands because they're used to playing small clubs, 300, 400, 500 people, and they play Mayhem and they've played in front of 10 to 20 times that many. Mm-hmm. And then the bigger bands, it's hard to book because they want all the money,
Right.
And so it becomes that paradox of getting the right mixture of young and mid and then legacy, and trying to put the whole puzzle together to make sure that you've got a lineup that's going to sell the most amount of tickets.
Would you ever alter the festival at all? Maybe think about raising the ticket prices or reducing the bill to accommodate a big headliner that you're looking to grab?
We've thought about it. It's just complex, man. It's very complex with I call them A+ group. Mm-hmm. Because they are worth and demand most if not all the money.
Right.
It puts us in a tough business model on how do we make money and stay in business when we're giving all the money away.
Yeah. No. Well, that brings me to a question. This is a rumor I heard back in the day. I mean, I don't know much, but I heard back in the day in Ozfest there were smaller bands that actually paid to get on the tour.
Oh yeah, they paid a lot. I mean, I think I had a band called The Used that I managed that were on it. And I think we paid $75,000 to do half the tour back in the day.
Half the tour?
I believe it was half the tour. I think we split it with Flash. Now, that's my recollection. Don't quote me on that, but that's my... Yeah, I mean, that was a model back then. I mean, the record companies had tons of money, and they needed Ozfest as an outlet, as a marketing outlet. So
yeah,
but there aren't record companies with that loot anymore, and we don't do buy-ons. We have never done buy-ons on Mayhem.
Okay.
Hasn't been something that we've done. We work with Victory and Sumerian and so forth, and they help us with stages and so forth on some of the production costs, and we put some of their artists on.
Okay.
But, that gives us a stage. Victory was really cool. We've got 4 Victory bands on. they helped us with the stage, and it's great promotion for them, and they have a pretty big marketing machine behind them, so it helps us as well.
Nice. Now, I read that you get like about 700 submissions for bands looking to play Mayhem every year. How many of those do you personally review, and what's the application process like? Is there a fee? Do you require certain things from your bands?
Well, it's just like anything, man. It's about making noise, about getting noticed, and the more you hammer and bother and get out there, and Die Art is Murder is a prime example that I put on this year. I mean, a bunch of people turned me on to them. I checked them out, and I felt like they have the potential to be a massive heavy band, and so we put them on the show, and we're stoked to have them on.
Do you have like a band each year that kind of you're championing? You really like the sound of these guys. You want to give them that extra push. Maybe it's more of a personal preference than a financial decision.
I try to think about the audience.
Yeah.
I don't really think about my taste. I try to think about, I study the audience. I ask questions when I'm out on the festival. I ask questions to kids, and we do surveys to who do you want on. So,
right.
I really try to book it based upon what I think is going to draw the largest, most diverse audience. I don't really listen to the naysayers about, this band did the Warped Tour, so they can't do Mayhem. I mean, heavy music is heavy music, and we try to give a buffet, if you will. We're not giving you a steak and no side. We try to give you a whole buffet. If you like chicken, eat chicken. If you're vegetarian, we try to give a plethora of different types of bands so that everybody can experience it. We don't want everything the same.
Yeah.
It's different. So it's important for us to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. Now, how many shows will you personally attend this summer? Will you go to all of them, or?
I've been to all of them every year, except when I have other I own a few other festivals, a comedy, oddball, and a few others. It depends on when they're going. But this year I've got some conflicts. I'll probably be at 20 out of the 26 dates this year.
Oh wow! So you're pretty hands-on with it.
You got to be. Yeah.
Wow. So I a couple of more questions real quick before I let you go. The society we live in nowadays, it's just crazy with the litigation and everything. Is that a big concern for you guys? Like how vulnerable are you guys to lawsuits if some kid breaks his neck, or is that kind of the amphitheater's responsibility?
I think we've had one lawsuit in 8 years.
That's it?
One lawsuit where somebody tripped. They were on the main stage, and it was dark, and they tripped over a cable or something.
Oh, wow.
Metalheads know that moshing comes with risk.
True.
And we have signs.
But that doesn't stop their parents from, you know what I mean, trying to get every dollar that they can.
We don't usually have that many issues because we do a lot of signage that talks about moshing and so forth. And if somebody gets hurt, they get medical attention. If somebody has an issue, we try to be proactive and deal with it. We take a lot of incident reports, and I think we've been pretty fortunate, in how Mayhem has gone down.
And with your security background, I imagine that you're pretty, you hire good people.
Yeah, and I've got a great staff, a great group of security guys and so forth that really work their ass off.
Now, to the security, you have like certain guys that travel with the tour, and then
I have a security director that coordinates everything, and he travels with me.
Okay,
He's on every date, and
each venue will have certain of their employees working too, or
each venue, has security people at every show.
Mm-hmm.
And he coordinates with them and does the advance work and so forth to make sure that everything's going great.
Okay, nice. One other issue like I see is weather. I remember the Warped Tour reality show I was watching last year or the year before. They had like some big tornado warning. They had to break down everything, and
yep.
Is that ever been an issue for you guys, like weather canceling a show or whatever, and is that crippling to the tour?
We've never had to cancel a show. I've had to stop the show numerous times, for a big cell to go over. We've had to clear the whole house. Last year we had like 4 inches of rain in like 20 minutes, 15 minutes
wow.
in Pittsburgh, I think it was.
Okay.
And there was 4.5 feet of water in the pit. When people were swimming in the pit, it rained so hard and so fast.
That sounds kind of awesome.
We've had weather issues, but we've never had any significant weather emergencies or anything like that.
All right. Well, thanks so much, John Reese, for talking with me. Everybody, check out Mayhem Festival this year. It's a really kick-ass lineup. Like we said, King Diamond, Slayer, hell yeah, Devil Wears Prada, Whitechapel, the list goes on and on. Check out the dates online. And before we wrap things up, is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, I think I'm great, man. I look forward to seeing you. Hopefully I'll see you out there on the road.
I'll be there in Camden.
Sounds good, bud.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.